Hey there. So do you have big plans for 2023? Well, you are not alone. I certainly do too. I created a 2023 goal setting planner for real estate agents that I'm excited to share with you. I will give you a copy for free. Just drop, planner in the comments and I will send that over to you. But we're going to hop into Canva and I'm going to be sharing with you and walking you through my 2023 planner, and we're going to go ahead and get started right now.
Mariah Koehle here, and I am excited to share with you my 2023 real estate goal planner. I know when I first got into the business, I didn't necessarily have a plan, and honestly, having a plan gets you to where you want to go, because if you got the plan, then if you follow the plan, having the plan is the first, half of the battle. Getting the plan and sticking to it is the next. So if you want a copy of this, I made it and designed it in Canva. Feel free in the comments to just drop planner and I will send you over this planner for free, no charge. But I really want to share, I'm excited to share with you this planner that I've got for this year. So just a little bit about me is I am a wife and a mother of 4. Yes, I have 4 kids. We had surprise twins at the end. They're awesome. It's great and crazy, but yes, you still can be a carpooling mom of 4 and you can still run a 6-figure business and you can do it in part-time hours. So I'm telling you, I'm living proof of it, and having a plan like this really helps to implement it and really helps you to stay on track. I've been in education and real estate for about 20 years. So a little bit about me. Here's our table of contents of what I'm going to be covering in this planner. Your why, the goal planning, actually, commitments to yourself, affirmations, and then really just kind of going into some financial trackers that you should have in place for your business, a yearly, monthly, and weekly kind of at a glance, and then a daily at a glance as well. So really just starting off with your why. Knowing your why means you understand why you are doing the things that you're doing, why you're showing up on social media, why you're making that YouTube video, why you're doing some of these things that might feel uncomfortable when you're like, man, I really don't feel like showing up for work today, but you're going to do it anyway because you have that strong why. Everybody's why is going to be different, but really when you know your why, zeroing in on what you're doing is going to make things a lot easier. So here's a couple of examples of what your why might be. It might be that you love the industry. It might be that you love, connecting with people and helping them. You might be, you might love the being financially independent. You might love the freedom that comes from running your very own business, from setting your own schedule. So really figuring out what your why is and then jotting that down and keeping it somewhere that's visible that you can continue to refer back to on those days when you're thinking, man, I just don't know if I have it in me. Circle back to your why. Now, something that's really important, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but these are the commitments that you make to yourself. While you're setting goals, determine what type of commitments you are going to make to yourself. Now you might say, Mariah, I don't know what that means, or I don't know. Well, let me show you a couple of examples. So some sample commitments that you might make to yourself is you might be committed to taking care of yourself and being grateful for the wins. It might be a small win. It might be, hey, you know what? I was able to get my kids to school and I was also able to go show a property. It might be, I did this and I was able to do this. Celebrating the wins and being grateful for those will really help to reshape your mind and all of that. For me personally, I am committed to my miracle morning routine where I've got a routine down. I'm committed to finding joy in the journey. This journey, it's going to have its peaks and valleys, and it's like a roller coaster, many people say, but really finding those moments of joy will really be beneficial. So figuring out your commitments to yourself is a big one. And here's a spot where you can write down your own personal commitments and then moving into affirmations. Now, affirmations have the power to motivate you to act on certain things that might be in your subconscious that you may have thought about before, but actually initiated and activating it might be kind of one of those, it might be more of a dream. But if you concentrate and you really bring those things to the surface, oftentimes those will have a way of manifesting itself and really reshaping your thinking patterns as well. So again, you might think, well, Mariah, I'm not really sure like what affirmations are, what they might look like. Here's a list, and here's just a sample of a few affirmations. You might pick 3 that you recite to yourself morning and night. You might do this while you're working out. You might do whatever it is, but pick some of these or create your own and really make this part of your routine. It might be, I am in charge of my mind. I am enough. I have enough. I do enough, right? So really figuring out those things that you maybe believe, but that also maybe might be a stretch for you, that if you really tell yourself these things enough, that you actually will start to believe them and you will start acting like that person. You have a space here to write down your own affirmations. And then once you've really got your mindset in shape and you're ready to do the work, now comes the goal planning. And actually, I listened to a really good podcast recently by Mel Robbins, and she talks about goal planning, and she really talks about the importance of writing them down. But many of us, guilty as charged, I come out of the year and I'm thinking, okay, I've got 499 goals that I'm really ready to start on with January 1st. Or, you know what, I'm going full force. Well, realistically, goals are something that you know, are going to be achievable. Those dreams are something that are big and exciting, right? But those day-to-day goals, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly goals should be something that you can, it's going to stretch you, but something that you can attain. And if you're choosing 1 to 3 goals to really zero in on, focus on, you're going to have a much better time of, you know, success on those, especially over the long term and even short term. So if you pick, you know, 1 to 3 goals for personal, 1 to 3 goals for professional, right? Choose a couple of goals so that you can really take a deep dive on that. Now, here for this goal planner, on this first section here, you're going to choose one goal, and then you are going to break it into 3 easy steps. So your goal might be, hey, I want to show up on Instagram daily. Okay. Step number 1, okay, it might be creating content. Step number 2, it might be figuring out when you're going to post each day so you can make it part of your routine. Step number 3, right? So you're breaking down that bigger goal of, yeah, I want to show up on Instagram every day, but I'm not exactly sure, right? That last one might be, hey, I'm going to batch content. So I've got 2 weeks worth, a month's worth of content, so I don't have to scramble every morning thinking about what I'm going to do. Then with each of those steps, you're going to break it into action steps, right? You're going to break it into action items. So if you know you want to show up on Instagram every day and you've got step number 1, maybe it's creating content, right? So how are you going to create content? Well, maybe you're going to start researching other content creators that you like. Maybe you're going to figure out, hey, maybe I can get on Canva and I can create my own content that I can put on. Step number 3, I might want to show up, so I might need to do a photo shoot, right? So that you can be out there, or take more pictures of beautiful homes that you like, or whatever it is. Break it up into smaller steps so that you can reach that goal. Now, since we've been talking about goals, one big piece of once you start building your business is really tracking your finances. When you track your finances, you will have a way better idea of where your business is headed. If you are just getting started, there's a lot of shiny objects out there, and there's a lot of, different programs and conferences and apps and all of that stuff that you can spend your money on. But there's also a lot of things that you can do that do not require money. So really take a deep dive in your business and figure out where are you spending your money on. Same thing goes in terms of your closings. When you sell a home, was it on the buy side? Was it on the sell side, the listing? What was the address? Keeping track of those, keeping track of the sale, how much it was, keeping track of your commission. Was it a 3%? Was it 2%? Was it 2.5%? Was it 1%? Put the closing date. So really have things dialed in with that. And once you're really looking at, hey, how much do I actually want to make this year? You want to start with the end goal in mind. You want to figure out, hey, what do I really want to make? I remember in the very beginning when I first got started, somebody had asked me, hey, Mariah, how much do you want to make? And I remember thinking like, oh, I never even really thought about that. And, I threw a number out there and my coach said, yeah, you want to double that at least. And I said, oh, really? And so just kind of getting that, figuring out what you want to make on this here. Here's a model of a sample of this. If you, for example, want to make $100,000, if you calculate what your average commission is within your area, here in Utah, it's typically 3%. We're seeing a lot of 2.5%, occasionally 2%. But if you take your average of 3%, again, wherever it is in your area, and you take that 100,000, if you want to make 6 figures, if you want to make that 100,000, multiply that by 3%, you get $15,000. Okay. So each commission that you're getting is $15,000. If you take that $100,000 and you divide it by the 15,000, you're going to have 6.6, which basically means that you need to close about a half a transaction a month. So we know 12 months in a year, every other month you are going to need to close a deal at that average, that average price point. So kind of gives you an idea of, and actually, let's see, this should be 500,000 at the 3%, which gives you 15,000. That makes more sense. So at any rate, just kind of getting that in your mind of, hey, how much do I want to make? And then reverse engineer that. And now we're going to break things down into the yearly, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. If you commit to, what are you really willing to commit to for a year to take your business to the next level? And when you put these commitments out there and you break them off into smaller bites. So, hey, you know what? January, what are the things that I need to do right now? Or, hey, it's February, or it's March, it's April. What are the important dates that I need to remember this month? How many houses have I sold? Each time you sell a house, put an X through one of these houses. There is something psychological that happens with your brain and actually crossing it off that, you see it, have it somewhere that it's visual, will really help you. Going along with what you need to know, we've got birthdays to remember. That's a big one. House anniversaries, houses that you have sold. And remember, maybe you send them a box of cookies on, the day that they had sold their house, right? Or you help them with that. Just remembering those little things. Pop by gifts. If you are dropping things off at your neighbor's house, figure out what you want to do for that month. Maybe you're going to do it monthly. Maybe you're going to do it every other month. Maybe you're going to do it quarterly. You figure out what system is going to work best for you. It doesn't have to be anything big. It really doesn't. So, but really figuring out that plan. And then the next thing, right into monthly. After your month has finished, take a deep dive on what went well and what maybe you're going to scratch for the next month, because you really want to do that evaluation of figuring out, hey, how many transactions did I close this month? How many listing appointments did I take? How many, houses sold, whatever it is. But really figure out what you were able to accomplish for that month. The same thing goes for weekly. Yes, you're going to do almost the exact same thing for weekly. I'm going to share with you my weekly game plan, kind of a sample of, what I do day to day. So I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. From 5:30 to 7 is my time. It's where none of my kids are up. Most of the time my husband's not up. I have a chance to exercise. I do my miracle morning. I'm able to journal. I do my affirmations. I read over my commitments. I read, I shower. I get ready for the day. And then from usually 7 to 8:30, that's family time where I'm helping kids, get ready for school. I'm helping them make breakfast. I'm helping with lunches. I'm doing all those things with the kids, with the family to, have them get off on the right foot. And then from 8:30 to 10:30, this is usually appointments or meetings or content creation, whatever it is during that time. And from 10 to 12 is usually my prospecting time. So prospecting could look very different if you are, if you're cold calling and door knocking and doing all those, that might be your chunk of time. For me, my source is usually social media. So I am either creating more content, I am posting things on social media, I'm answering questions on social media. I'm doing those different things during that lead gen time. Or I could be texting people, I could be, calling friends or family, or I might be doing something with them. From 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, again, this is more appointments, this is more meetings, this could be more content creation. Whatever may not have happened in the beginning of the day, I may be doing those things there. From 3 to 3:30, I'm the carpool driving mom and I'm picking my kids up from school, and that's a set appointment. I do that every day and I love it. And that is a commitment to myself. And 3:30 to 5, that is going to be family time. It's going to be me helping kids with homework. It might be me having an appointment or a meeting with a client. Again, sometimes phone calls come up, but this gives you kind of a good daily schedule of what it looks like. Sure, there's going to be times I need to take phone calls later on after dinner or during the day, right? But this gives you a good outline of what my day-to-day looks like. And then in terms of weekly prospecting, every time you make a contact, so every time you talk to somebody, every time you text somebody, every time you make contact with anybody, you are going to cross out a number every time you make a content. Down below, you might write who that contact was with. Hey, you know what? Had lunch with Mary, Sue, and Joe, right? And that might be 3 contacts because you just had lunch with 3 people, okay? Hey, had a play date at the park and 10 moms showed up at that park, and I talked with every single one of those moms. That is a contact. So every time you make a contact, put a cross in one of those numbers. And then this leads us down to our daily routine. What are you going to commit to today that's going to take your business to the next level? Some people like using that weekly and some use like the day. So depends on, it's exactly the same thing with the week, but your goal might be, hey, I want to have 25 contacts a day, or I might really only want to have 10 contacts. Whatever's going to move the needle in your business the most is what you want to do. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what a weekly planner could look like. And again, if you want a copy of this for free, please just drop planner down in the comments and I will send you over this exact planner. You can make changes to it. You can do whatever you want with it. But again, I am a real estate agent and I'm actually in the trenches doing transactions too, but I have a strong educational background and I've taught for many, many years. And I absolutely love teaching and training real estate agents on how to build their business and scale their business the modern way by leveraging the power of social media. And again, if that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing and then feel free to reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. And if you want all of this, teaching, training, coaching for free, I'm always looking for people who want to partner and build their business and scale their business this way. So hopefully you found this planner helpful. And again, if you want it, just drop planner in the comments. Take care and have a great one. Bye.